Welcome back to ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy, and A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is the new Game of Thrones spinoff, and it takes place 80 years after House of the Dragon. And we're going to tell you everything you need to know before watching this new show, but don't worry, there won't be spoilers. We're going to explain all the knights, the houses, and why jousting is such a damn big deal. And we're also going to explain the other Targaryen civil war called the Blackfyre Rebellion that's going to be very important for this show, and the secret character that connects this show to Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon.
What's your name?
Sir Duncan the Tall.
Never heard of him.
Do you know every knight in the Seven Kingdoms, then?
The good ones.
The show is an adaptation of the 3 short books titled Tales of Dunk and Egg. They are, of course, written by George R.R. Martin. And Season 1 will adapt the first book called The Hedge Knight. There are also graphic novels that adapt these 3 books. So the story follows Dunk and his squire Egg. Now Dunk is also called Duncan the Tall because he's really tall, and he's a hedge knight. We're going to explain what that means in just a moment. Now the Dunk and Egg books are far smaller in scale than the other Game of Thrones books, but they are a very small cog in the Westeros political machine that can reshape the whole world. But before we can explain Dunk and Egg and all the major knights and houses who you need to know for the show, let's start with the timeline of the story. Season 1 takes place 89 years before Game of Thrones, and 78 years after House of the Dragon. And this is a very unique time in Westeros history. See, the Targaryens are still in power, but they're in decline, and this is because of that civil war in House of the Dragon, a war that kills all the dragons. Spoil this person, you're just ruining the show. Come on, dude, we already know all that from Game of Thrones. I mean, Joffrey pretty much spoils both of these prequels.
4 pages for Sir Duncan. Rhaenyra Targaryen was...
Silence!
Now, one big difference between this show and other Game of Thrones shows is that there are no supernatural forces, no gods, no dragons. But the characters on this show are archetypes that line up with the arcana of tarot cards. For instance, Dunk is a classic example of the Fool. But there is one character we'll talk about later who does have deep ties to the old gods, and I really hope he's featured in this show. Because I love stories about godhood and games like Motto Immortal. What's that? It's an epic-spanning mythic RPG where you build tactical teams by collecting and commanding gods and goddesses from various mythologies, use tarot divination, and harness the forces of cosmic constellations, and they're the sponsor of this video. Motto Immortal is an absolutely stunning game with a dark, elegant art style that's perfect for their mystical and occult themes. But most importantly for me, it has a diverse gameplay. There is strategic card collection, roguelite challenges, and idle progression. But the game really comes alive with its deity interaction, where you can engage in real-time conversations with the AI-driven deities for personalized guidance and divination. Like there's Ares, the god of war and courage, who is available as soon as you complete pre-registration. This is all part of your quest to purify corrupted deities and liberate a world from a consuming shadow, where myths shuffle and fates mingle. You can download the game right now using my link in the description or by scanning this QR code. And by clicking, you're not only going to help out our channel, but you'll also get a starter pack reward that is worth more than $50, including a Zodiac Selector, 1,000 Elysian Gems, and 3 upgrade mat sectors. Just click the link below to get started with Motto the Immortal. Now back to what I was saying. The Dragon War between the Greens and the Blacks was devastating, nearly destroying the Targaryen dynasty. The war killed most of the dragons, the very thing that kept them in power since Aegon's conquest. Now the Targaryens managed to keep their butts on the Iron Throne, but many people are now questioning their authority. The king at the time of the show is Daeron II. However, 13 years ago, the Targaryens faced yet another civil war that reshaped Westeros in the decades that followed. This war was called the Blackfyre Rebellion, and we're going to see its ramifications in Dunk and Egg's story. So, if you remember, Robert's Rebellion was really important for the plot of Game of Thrones. That's when Robert Baratheon and Eddard Stark rose against the Mad King and finally ended Targaryen rule in Westeros.
What her father did to your family, that was unspeakable. What Rhaegar Targaryen did to your sister, the woman I loved.
Well, the Blackfyre Rebellion has a similar role in this new show. The current king of Westeros is Daeron II. He's peaceful and kind, a direct contrast to his father, Aegon IV. He was known as Aegon the Unworthy, one of the worst Targaryen kings, which frankly says a lot in this family of silver-haired incest-loving freaks.
They say every time a Targaryen is born, the gods toss a coin, and the world holds its breath.
Aegon was corrupt and spiteful. He was filled with lust for vices. He took any woman he desired and fathered many bastards. Aegon hated his legitimate son and heir, even spreading rumors that he wasn't even his real son. But why? Well, because he challenged his father's horrible decisions. so Aegon preferred his favorite bastard son, Daemon. He was named after Daemon from House of the Dragon. Aegon knighted him and gave him Blackfyre. Now this is the Valyrian sword that belonged to Aegon the Conqueror. It is a symbol for Targaryen kings. With this move, Aegon undermined his son's claim by giving it to Daemon, and then he changed his name to Daemon Blackfyre. And then, before his death, out of spite, Aegon tore apart the realm by legitimizing all of his many, many bastards. So this made Daemon Blackfyre a legitimate heir to the Iron Throne. And some lords actually wanted Daemon to take the throne. He was a skillful knight, and he was surrounded by other great knights. And he was seen as a reincarnation of Aegon the Conqueror. Daeron, on the other hand, was no warrior. He was working on peaceful and progressive reforms. He was basically seen as a nerd.
My brother has his sword, and I have my mind. And a mind needs books like a sword needs a whetstone.
Go outside, nerd.
Worst of all was his relationship with Dorne. See, the Dornishmen remained defiant against the Targaryens ever since Aegon's conquest. Many houses hated Dorne, and the Targaryens were obsessed with conquering it. Countless people died in these wars, even a dragon. But then Daeron finally made peace through marriage. He gave the Dornish special privileges and roles at court, and many lords were unhappy with this. It also didn't help that Daeron's eldest son and heir, Baelor, had dark hair, which he inherited from his Dornish mother. This is similar to Jon Snow and Rhaenyra's strong boys.
The seed is strong.
Strong.
Baelor and Daeron's other sons and grandsons will also be very important in this show, but we're going to talk about them more in a moment. So all of this led some of the lords to incite Daemon Blackfyre to rebel and take the throne, and this is how the Blackfyre Rebellion started. Even with no dragons, the civil war engulfed many parts of Westeros and divided the Seven Kingdoms. Daemon was called the Black King, while Daeron was the Red King, and even years after the war, it was dangerous to ask knights which side they fought for. The Blackfyre Rebellion was pretty short, but the ramifications of this war are going to be very important in the show. The rebellion ended in the Battle of Redgrass Field. 10,000 men died, including Daemon Blackfyre himself. He was killed by his half-brother, Bloodraven. Oh, that's a cool name. Who's that? He is Daemon's half-brother and a very important character in the Game of Thrones world. See, Bloodraven's real name is Brynden Rivers, one of Aegon the Unworthy's bastards. He's also the connective tissue between House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, and this show. See, Bloodraven actually becomes the Three-Eyed Raven, the old man beyond the wall who teaches Bran Stark the power of flashbacks.
I've been watching you all of your lives with 1,000 eyes and one.
Now, I'm not going to spoil how he becomes the Three-Eyed Raven, but he also has a cameo in House of the Dragon. He appears in Daemon's vision when he sees the White Walkers and the death of the dragons. It is said that Lord Bloodraven has 1,000 eyes and one, meaning he's got spies everywhere and everyone is scared of him. He's a more badass version of Varys, or Lara Strong, aka Lord Littletoe, but he's also a sorcerer and his lover is a witch and also his sister.
The McBoyle bloodline's been pure and clean for 1,000 years.
Now, when you say pure and clean, you mean what exactly?
It means we haven't bred outside the bloodline.
He supported Daeron during the rebellion and actually killed Daemon Blackfyre after his elite archers rained down arrows on him.
Our arrows will blot out the sun.
Then we will fight in the shade.
Now, during that same battle, Bloodraven lost an eye in a duel with his older half-brother, Aegor Rivers, also known as Bittersteel.
Very bitter.
He's yet another bastard of Aegon the Unworthy, and he actually pushed Daemon to rebel. Now, following Daemon's death, Bittersteel escaped with Daemon's wife and sons to Essos, and later he formed the Golden Company, a mercenary group made up of exiled knights, and many years later Cersei hires them to defend King's Landing. And that's how they became the Smoking Company.
And it burn, 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 that ring of fire.
So, after the Blackfyre Rebellion, Daeron kept the throne. The rebels were punished by losing lands, titles, and forcing them to give hostages. And while defeated, most of Daemon's supporters are preparing for the day to reignite the rebellion and put a Blackfyre on the Iron Throne. And the consequences of the rebellion are going to be crucial to Dunk's story, because the events that unfold in the show will have devastating ramifications for the Targaryen dynasty. So that's the history that leads into this show. Now let's explain the characters that you need to know about, all the knights and houses that'll be important. The two main characters in the show are Dunk and Egg. Now, saying too much about Egg would spoil things, so for now, just know he's a really smart kid and he becomes Dunk's squire.
Rob me and I'll hunt you down with dogs.
You don't have dogs!
I'll get some.
Where?
Oh!
Dunk, or Sir Duncan the Tall, was born in Fleabottom. That's the really shitty part of King's Landing.
I was born in Fleabottom, just like you.
Dunk is very tall and also very noble. As a boy, he became a squire to Sir Arlen of Pennytree. His crest is a winged chalice. Now, you need to pay attention to the sigils and flags in this show.
Whose banner is that?
My own.
Suppose if we use the same one, the battle will be terribly confusing.
Dunk and Sir Arlen are what's called hedge knights. So they scam other knights to invest their hedge funds? No, they're the knights who say "ni."
We are the knights who say... Ni!
No, not the knights who say ni.
Okay, so a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is obviously about knights, so we need to explain the different types of knights in Westeros. Knights are warriors who swear vows of honor and serve different houses. They're seen as more moral people because of these vows, but they also need to do the right thing and protect the innocents. But most knights end up being corrupt or having very flexible views of honor. Any man can actually become a knight, and every knight can make another knight. They can also be knighted by lords and kings.
In the name of the warrior, I charge you to be brave. In the name of the mother, I charge you to defend the innocent.
So there are household knights. These are knights that are taken into service for one of the many households in Westeros. But there are also landed knights, and they have their own lands. At the same time, highborn lords from big houses can also be knights. The top tier of the knights are the King's Guard. Those are the most elite warriors who protect kings and the royal family. These knights are usually highly decorated, unless they just beat somebody to death at a wedding.
You're hired.
But hedge knights like Dunk are different. They are the lower class among the knights. They hold no land and have no lord.
It's a hedge knight, ain't it?
What?
It's like a knight, but sadder.
They're basically knights for hire. They travel from one house to another, working for anyone who will give them work. This makes them very poor, so essentially they must sleep in the hedges.
Your belt's made of rope.
Hedge knights have a bad reputation because some of them become criminals and mercenaries. But Sir Arlen trained Dunk to be a true knight. See, true knights protect the weak and innocent. They aspire to do the right thing, always, and make the world a better place.
If your precious Randy commanded you to kill your own father and stand by while thousands of men burned alive, would you have done it? Would you have kept your oath then?
So any knight can make a name for themselves in war or in a tourney, and this is why Dunk travels to a town called Ashford to participate in a tourney that is being held there. Now, Ashford is a small and insignificant town, but according to the show's executive producer, Ira Parker, the Targaryans show up to remind everybody that they're still in charge. So Ashford is located in the Reach. The town belongs to Lord Ashford, who serves under the Tyrells. They are one of the richest houses, second only to the Lannisters. And don't forget, the great houses are the people who rule parts of Westeros, and each one of them is served by smaller houses. The Starks are in the north. House Arryn is in the Eyrie of the east. House Tully controls the Riverlands. House Lannister controls the Westerlands, and House Tyrell rules over the Reach. House Baratheon holds the Stormlands. House Martell rules Dorne in the southeast. And of course, the Targaryens rule them all from King's Landing. So tourneys are very important events in Westeros. The main attraction is the jousting.
Start the damn joust before I piss myself.
The way the tourneys work is that different knights enter their names to compete. Two knights compete in each fight, trying to knock each other off their horses with lances. Now, many times the fight will continue on the ground. In tourneys, the loser must forfeit their armor and horses to the winners. And for some knights, especially hedge knights, that's pretty much all of their worldly possessions. Now, this is a tournament-style competition, so the winners of each round advance until there is a champion. However, in the Ashford tourney, there are 5 champions to begin with, and they must defend their title against knights who challenge them. For Dunk, a victory will mean that important lords will notice him and that he can gain position among their houses.
What chance do I have?
I have no chance.
And this brings us to all the knights that will participate in the tourney in the houses they represent, starting with the Targaryens. The Targaryen sigil is, of course, the 3-headed dragon. Now, we probably won't see King Daeron in Season 1, but his eldest son and heir is a main player in this whole event. His name is Baelor Breakspear. He got the name because he's very good at beating other knights in tourneys. Much like his father, Baelor is honorable and fair, but his hair is dark, which he inherited from his Dornish mother, Miriam Martell. Baelor's eldest son and heir is Valar. He will also appear in the show and participate in the tourney. Now, Baelor has 3 brothers, Aerys, Rhaegal, and Maekar, and the last one is going to appear in the show. Baelor and his younger brother Maekar were integral to crushing the Blackfyre rebels. Now, Maekar is not as kind or as honorable as his brother. His personal symbol is the Targaryen symbol quartered because he is the 4th son. and his sons are very important to this story. His eldest is Daeron, the other Daeron.
Peter.
We're all called Peter, Peter.
Peter Parker.
Same again, we're all Peter Parker.
He's a drunk, and unlike most Targaryens, his hair is brown. His symbol is the three-headed dragon, but mirrored. Next is Aerion. He's the one in that badass armor. Aerion is basically the Joffrey of the show. His Targaryen crest is modified. Each one of the dragon heads is in a different color, red, orange, and yellow. Kind of reminds me of this. The third son is Aemon, and guess what? He grows up to be Maester Aemon in Game of Thrones.
My father was Micah, the first of his name.
You're Aemon Targaryen.
And the other is Aegon V, and he's just a little kid. So those are the Targaryens, and now let's talk about some of the other important knights and the houses they serve. The tourney is taking place in Ashford. The insignia of House Ashford is a white sun in a V shape on an orange background. Lord Ashford's sons, Andrew and Robert Ashford, will compete in the tourney. This guy with the crown is Lionel Baratheon. He's also known as the Laughing Storm. He got that name because he laughs at all of his defeated opponents, and he's basically like a medieval rock star. He's also the heir to Storm's End. That's the Baratheon castle, and they rule the Stormlands. The Baratheon sigil is a stag with the crown on a gold background. Now, Lionel is basically a lot like what Robert Baratheon was in his prime, back when he led the rebellion that destroyed the Targaryen dynasty.
Gods, I was strong then. Caved in his breastplate. Probably shattered every rib he had.
Lionel's role in the show will be much bigger than in the book, and he will be an important ally to Duncan Egg. Now, another friend is Raymond Fossaway. This is the first time we will see House Fossaway in the Game of Thrones universe. Their banner is a red apple. Their house is in the Reach, so they serve House Tyrell. And Raymond is a squire to his older cousin, Steffan Fossaway. Now, the tourney at Ashford is famous for the Battle of the Humphreys. This is Humphrey Beesbury, and this is Humphrey Harding. House Harding are Knights of the Vale under House Arryn, and their sigil is red and white diamonds. House Beesbury are from the Reach. Their sigil is a black and yellow beehive, and they serve under the Hightowers, who are still around after the war in House of the Dragon. Another important knight is Manfred Dondarrion. He and Sir Arlen once served together against some Dornish rebels, and you probably remember Beric Dondarrion from Game of Thrones.
Thoros, how many times have you brought me back?
5, I think. No, this makes 6.
House Dondarrion is sworn to the Baratheons. Their sigil is a purple lightning bolt with white stars on a black background. Another knight who has a minor but still important role is Robin Riesling. He's an old knight with an eye patch. Now, not much is known about House Riesling, but they're from the Reach, likely sworn to the Tyrells. And speaking of, Leo Tyrell will appear in the show. He is the Lord of Highgarden and ruler of the Reach. He is also the Liege Lord of House Ashford. And there are also some Lannisters. In the book, Daemon Lannister is the Lord of the people who sometimes pay their debts. His son Tybalt also competes in the tourney.
You promised me a lordship and a castle and a highborn beauty for a wife.
And you'll get all three. A Lannister always
Don't
pays...
say it. Don't say it.
So, these are all the important knights that you need to know about, and there are of course other characters, but let's wait for the show to come out before we talk about them. And we will of course go over all of that in our breakdowns. So far, there are 3 seasons announced for this show, and each one will adapt one of these short books. But it looks like we're going to get a season each year. George R.R. Martin seems to be pretty happy with this adaptation, and he's previously said that he wants to write more Duncan Egg stories, so it's possible we'll get more seasons. Because, you know, at this point, Martin will do anything except finishing the 6th book, Winds of Winter.
It's been 84 years.
So, this is all you need to know before watching A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Did we miss anything important? If we did, please don't spoil it in the comments for other people. Big shout out to Pavel T, who wrote and edited this video, and you can let me know what you think down in the comments below, or you can find me on my Substack. Links for that are below as well, or you can find us on our free-to-join Discord server. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe, smash that bell for alerts. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy.